Before this video begins, I must give a fair warning that this video does contain minor spoilers for the first few hours of Breath of the Wild, so if you don't want to get spoiled, please leave and play the game for yourself. Thank you. The other day, I was playing through Breath of the Wild when I realized something. That the tutorial for the game is practically perfect. But I don't mean the tutorial that takes place on the Great Plateau, no. I mean the optional tutorial that ends when receiving the Champion's Tunic from Impa. But let me explain. At the start of the game, you are tasked by an old man to complete the 4 shrines spread out through the plateau, the game's intro area, in order to get the percolator needed to leave and continue your adventure. Upon completing the shrines, you meet up with him at the Temple of Time, where he gives you the quest, Seek Out Impa. The player then uses the percolator to leave the Great Plateau, and the tutorial ends. Or does it? You see, if you choose to track the quest Seek Out Impa, given by the old man, then you'll make your way towards Kakariko Village. Along the way, you might come across Dueling Peak Stable, where horses can be found and tamed behind the establishment. Once at Kakariko, you meet up with Impa, which not only recalls the events of 100 years ago when Calamity Ganon awoke and conquered Hyrule, but also tells you about the divine beasts and that you should visit Pura in Hateno Village, if you want to get your Sheikah Slate fixed. Now at this point, you have 2 options. Visit any of the 4 divine beasts, or visit Pura in Hateno Village. If you're anything like me though, then you really want to visit Pura before going to any of the divine beasts. Once you make it to her, she welcomes you with a small side quest that fixes up your Sheikah Slate and grants you the Camera Rune. Completing this quest, she tells you to return to Impa, where she informs you of a potential way to get your memories back. After going through one of the 8 memories that can be tracked using the album, you return to Impa and she rewards you with the Champion's Tunic, the same clothing you wore 100 years ago. Oh, and it's also worth noting that if you speak to a resident at the Dueling Peak Stable and ask him about Hateno Village, he'll refer to it as being located on the edge of Hyrule. But why is all this important? Well, it's because all of this is still the tutorial. Let me show you why. The plateau where you first begin is a playground of sorts, meant for you to mess around and get comfortable in. But if we look at what I previously described, then we learn that the game does a few things in this extended tutorial. It gives the players a sense of how big this world is, gives them enough time between the plateau and stable for players to make a decision on how they want to traverse the world, and shows that there are helpful rewards for doing quests. And I haven't even mentioned yet that the game is basically teaching you and holding your hand while exploring and doing these quests, since it wasn't suited for the game's real tutorial. But I think what's most amazing to me about all of this is the subtlety of it all. Because you don't actually realize you're learning these things until you sit down and examine what the game's doing for you. All in all, it just really fuels my belief of why Breath of the Wild tutorial is perfect. Hey, and Screen Poke, just here to say that you should go follow me on Twitch and TikTok. Thanks. Okay, bye.